I'm Theresa V, and this is the place to be if you're a sensitive world changer who wants to feel more alive in this world that you love. Each month, I check in with the angels and the archangels to see what advice they have for us in terms of navigating the energies throughout the month ahead. This month, the angels are talking about the one thing they want us to accomplish by the end of the year. And they're also talking about how this season of light could help us propel ourselves forward even further than we normally would be able to. And they're showing us the bigger and broader perspective of what we've actually gone through this year. Stay tuned. You've made it through 2020 to this point. Now the angels are telling us that we can ride the waves of this season of light to work through the next pieces of the puzzle in terms of our own lives and the collective. The season of light energy is much lighter and has so much more joy and hope. So we can use that higher vibration to our advantage to work through a lot of things very quickly. Being sensitive doesn't always work in the negative way. It works also in the positive way where we can accomplish much more with more subtle energies. As we move forward into this new paradigm, and make no mistake, as we enter 2021, we are going to be in the new paradigm. We are being called to move into heart-centered communication. Humanity is evolving from a place where we functioned primarily from the mind to a place where we will be functioning primarily from the heart. And we're in between right now and moving in the direction of the heart. So what the angels are asking us to do from now until the end of the year, using this season of light as an opportunity to do it with much more ease and grace. They're asking us to move through all of the places where we've had interpersonal communication failures. A lot of times we are conflict avoidant because we are so sensitive. We've learned to internalize conflict. We've learned how it feels and how unpleasant that is, whether it's our conflict or somebody else's. So we avoid it at all costs. When there's an issue that comes up between ourselves and another person, many times we just move over to the side and attempt to work through it on our own. We process through the energies, we do the meditation, we do all of our practices to work through the feelings that we're having about that misaligned communication. When what we really need to be doing is having a conversation with that person, putting everything out on the table with love and working through the conflict, working through the stumbling block. Now, there are times where we can't get into that place of love right away, so we need to walk away, process on our own, move through the feelings, and come back to the conversation with an open heart at the very least. Maybe not fully in love yet, but with an open heart and with the intention that anything that happens come from a place of love. When we approach a situation with the intention that everything that happened be through love, even if we make big mistakes or take major missteps, everything always works out in the end. When we approach something with the intention of love, it always works out. This month, the angels really want us to focus on cleaning up those places where there has been a lack of communication because of conflict avoidance, because we're afraid to hurt another person or afraid to feel the depth of pain ourselves. It's time for all of those unsaid words, that unprocessed emotion, to just be cleared from us. Now, you may have done a lot of work on your own to clear this, but the angels want us to realize how unfair it is when we don't give the other person the opportunity to work through it with us, when we don't give them the opportunity to speak and or to be heard. So it's unfair to them, and it's also unfair to ourselves because we are not giving ourselves the opportunity to speak or to be heard. When we do speak, because of how we carry ourselves and how we're called to show up on this planet, we do so from the heart. We speak to what is going on in our heart. And so the angels want us to understand how much that is already coming from love. And when we do so, we invite the other party to do the same. We don't speak from an emotional charge. We speak from love and intention. They really want us to take this month to master this art with grace. The world that we're building from here involves a myriad of perspectives, needs, and when we can listen and hear another person, it brings a point of view that we might not have been exposed to before, or we might not have considered. So if we're in a place where we close ourselves down before that person even is able to express why their point of view is what it is, we then lose the opportunity to build a more well-rounded world. We need to build a world that considers so many different things as we move forward, so many perspectives, so many experiences. When we give somebody the opportunity to speak, to use their voice, to share their lived experience, we validate them. We may even begin to understand them in a way that we wouldn't have otherwise. Now, that doesn't mean that we agree with them. It doesn't mean that we think they're right or that we even get swayed. What it does mean is we're able to fold in more information so that we can create with as much background information as possible. Our creations as we move forward will serve more, will last longer, and will be more flexible. So they won't be rigid structures that come from one myopic point of view that everyone has to grow into. They will be flexible structures that grow from a place of understanding who and what they are serving so that the people can breathe life into those structures and create a morphing society that grows and changes with each individual. The angels also want us to understand that addressing difficult things doesn't always have to be conflict-ridden. They can be clarifying conversations that leave everyone feeling so much better and so much more centered in the heart afterwards. It's also important for us to realize that maybe the other parties are not open to having a clarifying conversation. So if they have been very clear in letting you know that they're not open, they don't want to speak to you, they don't want to address this, then you go off and do the work on your own. The other situation where you would not move into these conversations is if there is any potential of danger. If you know that this is not a safe situation, then don't approach it. So the angels want us to understand, to use our intuition, to use our instinct, and to listen to what the other party is saying, either by saying, yes, I'm open to this, or just making you completely understand that there is no opening for further conversation. As we clear these old stuffed up situations from our system, we become better able to receive communication from our higher self, from our inner guidance. And we've been talking for a very, very long time about moving into a society that functions more from a telepathic standpoint. And you'll see a lot of the children are coming in able to communicate more without words necessarily. And so as we purify, as we work through these situations and release them, coming to a place of balance, coming to a place of clarity, we can receive this communication. We can start to work more in a telepathic way with each other. We can start to communicate more energetically. If those situations are still resonating and living in our system, what ends up happening is if we send someone a message with our mind or our heart, all of those emotions that we haven't worked through, all of those situations grab onto that communication and hit them at the same time. You can be sending someone a message as simple as, please pick me up a cup of coffee on your way home. And all of a sudden there's all of this baggage that comes with that, and the person's left feeling very conflicted about this cup of coffee. We need to really purify our systems and take care of all these unresolved communications before the calendar hits 2021. If people have already passed on and crossed over, then we can still take care of these unsaid communications by communicating with them or asking our angels for intervention to help us work through it. One of the most beautiful things that has come out of 2020 is that we as a society have realized how important physical communication is to each of us, to us as a civilization. We have made the choice to include communication that involves all of the senses in our day-to-day as we move forward. What's amazing about this is there have been so many societies, especially amongst our galactic brothers and sisters, that have opted to forego all of these sensory experiences. And one of the things that they all admire about humanity is that we still have the ability to communicate through touch, to communicate through expression. And that's something that a lot of those societies wish they had not given up. And so we have decided throughout this year, when we have been in a situation that has not included very much touch or communication in the sensory ways, the ways of the five senses that we are used to, we've decided that that's something that's really important and necessary to us, and that as we move forward, we want to continue as a species having this ability to communicate with each other. And remember, as we're speaking from the heart, we are listening. It is so important for us to be listening from the heart, because that is how we pick up the things that may not be able to be said or communicated with words. When we listen from our heart, it eradicates judgment. And judgment and peace cannot exist in the same space. So if we want to move forward in peace, we need to eradicate judgment from our day-to-day lives. And the easiest way to do this is when we are speaking and listening, to move into our heart space consciously before and during. If you find yourself moving from your heart space to fear or to your brain, then take a couple breaths, excuse yourself, come back to the heart space, and continue from there. This helps us to see the essence of what's there, to see and experience another person's essence, and respond with truth, respond with love. The angels also want us to understand that a lot of what we went through this year was not only mental and emotional. We've actually also gone through very intense physiological shifts and changes to accommodate for what comes next, to release what was that was no longer serving. Our physiological structures actually were being rewired in so many ways. And so this time of being on our own, being quarantined, actually made those changes easier. And they want us to understand that, because we underestimate so much of what went on this year. We wake up feeling more tired and we accuse ourselves, we get upset with ourselves because we feel like we should be performing in a certain way, or we shouldn't be vulnerable to other people's thoughts or our own sadness about things or our own longing for things. They really want us to understand the scope of what happened within us this year and how much more suited we are now to move forward. So throughout this month of December, as we're working on cleaning up these places where communication needs to be cleaned up, where emotion needs to be cleaned up, listen to your body. Your body will tell you exactly what you need to move forward, to shift the energy, to move into the next phase. Don't function from the place of thinking that you know what your body should have. Listen to what it is actually asking you for. This relationship of working with your body is what will keep you as healthy as possible as you move forward. It's what will keep you as fluid as possible, as well as clear as possible. That feels very complete from the angels this month. If you would love more support moving through December, cleaning things up and infusing yourself with love energy. The angels are telling us we need to spend this month infusing ourselves with love energy so much that we can just beam it out as the calendar turns to January 2021. Please join us for the 28 Days of Love, where I will be transmitting along with the angels and Divine Mother every single day beautiful infusions of love to you and to the whole group that is gathering. It's a very loving community, and we will be together for the first 28 days of December. We started on December 1st, but if you haven't joined yet, the angels are holding all of the energy that's already been sent out for you when you join the group. Also, we're having Angel Transformation Hour right in the middle of this month so that the angels can further support us in these shifts and these changes and in the preparation for what comes next. They'll be channeling messages for you and the collective and answering your personal questions about your life or anything that would help you to be more in a space of peace. So please join us for that as well. The links to both things are in the description of this video or in the comments below. Please also share this video as widely as you feel called and leave a comment letting us know what resonates for you. I cannot wait to build with you in 2021, and I so look forward to seeing what you choose to bring into your life next. Thank you so much for being here this whole year. I appreciate you and how you show up in the world. We'll talk soon. Take care, everybody.